Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Today's daf is Daf Yud Zayin. We start from Daf Tazayin Amad Beis. It's towards the middle. We finished yesterday. Amar Rabbi Zera. A little bit before the middle of Daf Tazayin Amad Beis. Amar Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera says, Ki havinan bei Rav Yehuda. When we were learning Torah in the Beis Medrash of Rav Yehuda. Amar Lon, he said to us, Gemira minoha molsa. Learn from me this halacha, to migavra Rabbi Shmieli, because I heard it from a great person. I heard this halacha, v'lo yadana imei Ravi meshmuel. I don't remember if I heard it from Rav or from Shmuel. Now, what's so interesting is Rav Yehuda learned by Rav for most of his life, and then Rav passed away and he went to learn by Shmuel. And he heard some members from Rav, some members from Shmuel, and here's an example where he didn't remember if Rav said it or Shmuel said it, but he said it's an important halacha. What's the halacha? We saw yesterday that the halacha of Pirkus is that when you shecht an animal, you have to make sure that the animal,
I knew stuff.
I'm so happy to see you. Again. Make the daf great again. I don't know, there's no MAGA there, but MDGA. Yeah, beseder. Madaga.
That word, actually.
Mega. That's real Rabbi Yoel Gold.
That's very good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Imam just started. He came almost just on time. We started a couple of lines ago. Daf Tazayin Amad Beis from right before the half. Daf Tazayin. Yeah. So we just started. We'll start again in honor of Rabbi Shol Rabbi Yoel. Amar Rabbi Zera, Kevin Beit Rav Yehuda. When we learned in the Beis Medrash of Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Lan, he said to us, Gemir v'noha milsai, learn. He says, learn from me this following halacha. I heard it from a great person. I don't know in the Ravi Mishmuel. I don't remember if I heard it from Rav or Shmuel. We just said Rabbi Yehuda learned by Rav, and then Rav passed away. He went to learn by Shmuel. He learned certain halachas that he didn't remember whether Rav said it or Shmuel said it. And the following is this halacha. We saw yesterday that an animal, before you shecht, it has to be mefarches, which means it has to move. The foreleg has to move outward and inward by behemedaka, by megasa only outward. What about a chaya gasa? Chaya gasa is like a behemedaka. It has to move outward and inward. It has to make a complete rotation. When I came to this place called Kurkunya, and he said over the Shem Shmuel, Chaya gasa Amina, I said Shma Mina, Mishmei de Shmuel itmer. So you see that it said over in the name of Shmuel. When I came to Surah, I heard him say it in the name of Rav. Amina, so I said, Shmuel. It could be that both of them said it. Now, why is it so important to remember who said it? Because we all know the Gemara in Megillah. The Gemara says, Mishnah Pirkei Avos, so this is an example. Rav Yehuda was trying to be careful in this very matter, and he was mistapik, who should he attribute this memra to? And the Gemara says, it seems like Rav and Shmuel both said it. And then he said, when I went there to Yisrael, this is Rabbi Zera talking, right? When I went there to Yisrael, Ashkachte l'Rav Asi, the Yosef Omar, Rav Chomer Gribish made Rav Chai Gasser, Pirkus. He said the same thing, but he didn't send the name of Rav. Omri Lei, Lamar, the man Mora de Shmaitza. And I said to Ravasi, don't you know who to attribute this memra to? Rabbi Bar Yirmiyah. It's to Rabbi Bar Yirmiyah, who said it b'shem Rav. Amali Pasya Uchma, you're like a darkened vessel, Menoy Menoch this time Shmaitza. Between you and me, we'll know exactly how to attribute the order of events, how and who said it. So Rav Chomer Bar said it from Rav, and Rabbi Bar Yirmiyah was Makav from Chomer Agiria of Itmanam Yom Zeir Mavasiyam Rabbi Yirmiyah Chomer Agiria Rav Chaygas Rekadakal Pirkus. Okay, so now we know that it's attributed to Rav in this order of Amei Roim that all heard it b'shem one of the other until it goes back to Rav. Okay, you guys came just in time. Eitan Shalom Aleichem. My nephew is here from Eretz Yisrael, and he was listening to the shiur in Eretz Yisrael.
Oh wow!
He actually commented on Spotify. He texted me. He says, "I'm giving you a review." He's been listening, so it's an honor to have Eitan with us at the shiur. Welcome back from New York.
Did he give you a positive review?
Positive review. Yeah, I think so. I didn't see the review, but I think he said.
I don't think I was able to leave one.
Oh, really? Why not?
Because it doesn't let you leave a comment one.
Okay, for all 6 viewers that are watching this year, make sure to leave a comment.
600.
Welcome back.
600,000.
You want to go?
Was he outside?
Oh, he's last night. Oh, okay, Shane. Who said he's going out of town? Somebody told me he's
I
going
did tell you on Sunday.
on Sunday. It was on Sunday. Okay. Okay, we're all by the two dots. Ein boinen to Zaina with base in the bottom. Two dots. Yeah? We said in the Mishnah, you're not allowed to build with non-Jews. You're not allowed to help them build a basiliki. Remember what a basiliki is? A garden, estadia, obima, coliseums, arenas. You're not allowed to build it with them because they use it either to kill people or they use it for Avodah Zarah. Shloisha basilkois hein. There are three types of basilikis. One is shol malachim, used by kings, v'shol mechatzois, and another is for bathhouses, v'shol etzaros, and to store the king's treasures. Two out of the three you're allowed to build with a goy. Ve'echad le'isr, only one you're not allowed to build with a goy. The simon, and what's the simon? Which one is usr? And the three that we just mentioned, lesoy malcheyen beziken. The basiliki that is built for kings, that you're not allowed to help a non-Jew build, because in those basilicas that are designated for the kings, that's where they're dan dine nefashis. That's where they execute people, or at least they judge people for execution.
Dungeons.
Rava says no, they're all mutter, even the malachim one. It's stadia bima. How can you tell me all basilicas are mutter? The Mishnah says that one type of basilica is aser. Gemara says ema shel gardoin v'shel it stadia v'shel bima. A basilica, I guess, means a type of building, but it's a building shel gardoin. What is gardoin again? What's the translation of gardoin? Art scroll. Anybody English? What's gardoin?
Hanging, killing.
Where you kill him?
Yeah.
A platform where you kill people, v'shel it stadia, or an arena.
No, gardom, the execution.
It's a tired court building.
A what?
A tired court building. T-I-E-R-E-D. Tired. That
A
means
tiered?
it-
Tiered. Okay, a tiered court building and an arena and a bima platform where you kill people. So I guess, the gallows. Oh, very good. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, these are all people, right? All places. The gladiators in the Colosseum, right? That's at Stadia, and the bima is also a platform for killing, and gardem are the gallows that you're not allowed to build. Those are called the basilicas. Basilicas shel gardem, shel at Stadia, shel bima. But anything else, which is called the basilica, is also mutter. Tanu Rabbanon, very interesting Gemara over here. We're entering a couple of blat of Agarata. Big time Gemaras. Kshenitpas Rebbe Eliezer, Leminos, when the Oivdei Avodah Zarah, they caught Rebbe Eliezer and they tried to force him to serve Avodah Zarah. Helu legardem lidain. They brought him to the gallows to judge him for refusing to serve Avodah Zarah. Oh, Ma'aloi Oisa Hegmoin. So this Roman Tsar said to him, Zokin shekemoischa, an old man, a wise man like yourself, Yasik bedvar b'telim alalu, you should spend and waste your time with dvar b'telim learning Torah? Omar, so Omar Allah Rebbe Eliezer answered him, Neman Allah Hadayin, I trust the judge. Ksavar Oisa Hegmoin, this guy thought that Olavu Omer, Rebbe Eliezer was referring to him. He was complimenting him. You know what? I trust you. You're the judge, right? So you're executing me. I trust what you're saying about Avodah Zarah. V'hu, but Rabbi Eliezer really meant it for Hashem. Lo yomel keneged oviv shebashamayim. He said, I trust God. I trust Hashem that he brought this tzara on me and he's judging me truthfully that I'm going to die now. Omar loy. So this Hegmon, this Sar said, Hoyel v'haman tani alecha. He thought Rabbi Eliezer was complimenting him. Rabbi Eliezer was believing. He's saying he's trusting him. He says, oh, since you trust me, Demus Paterato. Demus was the name of an Avodah Zarah, and he basically swore in the name of his Avodah Zarah that I'm going to release you. I'm not going to kill you. Kshabola Beisai. Rabbi Eliezer comes home, right? He had a brush with death. He was standing on the platform of the gallows. He was about to kill him. And when the judge, the executioner, confronted him, he said a line which he misunderstood, and that's how he got off the hook. So he came home. So his Talmidim came to comfort him. Why did they come to comfort him? Because Rabbi Eliezer felt terrible. Rabbi Eliezer knew that if he was about to die, he must have done something wrong. Hashem wouldn't have brought him to the gallows if he didn't deserve it. And a tzaddik is mefashmash b'maisav. He wants to know, what did he do wrong? So he came home. They came to comfort him. And he wasn't makabel any comfort. Omar le Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was his Talmud. Rabbi Akiva says, Rabbi, Tarsheni loymar, allow me to tell you, davar echad mashlo amaratoni. Can I repeat a teaching that you taught me?
Is it kavodaya?
Is a kavodaya. Mo, come to the table. Here, make some room for Mo. Come over here. There's a chair. Huh? Comfortable? No, we miss your presence at the table.
איזה פחד.
I mean it. Don't recommend Shlomo Omar Loi, Sir Beleza said, Amoyer, speak. Oh, thank you. Omar Loi Rebbe, Sir Makiva said to him, Rebbe, Shembo Minus Boli Yotri. He came just in time for Yudzayin. We're mamish just on top of Yudzayin, the first word. He said, maybe you had some dover minus that you heard, right? Some kfira that you must have heard. V'hinacho, and you had enough from it. You benefited from it. You had pleasure from it. V'olav nispasta, and that's why you got punished, so to speak, by Hashem. You got caught by these Avodah Zarah that wanted to kill you. Oh my Lord, Sir Beliezer, Akiva is Kartani. Yes, you reminded me of a scenario, of an incident that once happened. I walked in the market, in the upper marketplace of Tzipori, and with Sasi Echad, I found one min. One guy, min. Remember what we said? Min is Rashi Tevis, Mitalmidei Yeshu Noitzri. Yeah, I guess. I don't know if that was at that time, but anyway, yeah, this was after. This was already in the.
Yeah.
This was Rekiva lived as Machur by his Sheni, right? Rekiva was alive as Machur by his Sheni. So this was in the time of Eliezer and Rekiva. So either way, he said, I have the Yaakov Ish Kfar Schanya Shemai. Imagine a Catholic or a Christian, his name is Yaakov. Yaakov Ish Kfar Schanya Shemai. And his name was Yaakov Ish Kfar Schanya. Omar Li, Sir Eliezer is recalling this incident. He says, this min, his name is Yaakov Ish Kfar Schanya, says to me, Kosav b'teiraschem. It says in your Torah, Loisavi esnan zoina, Beis Hashem Elokech. You're not allowed to bring an esnan. What's an esnan? An esnan is a gift that somebody gives to a zoina for her services, right? So if you give a gift to a zoina for her services, you're not allowed to bring, let's say you give her an animal. You can't bring that animal as a carbon in the Beis HaMikdash. It's a to'eva. So Hashem says in the Torah, Loisavi esnan zoina. Mahu, what's the halacha if, let's say, the zoina received bricks? Let's say received like bricks as a gift for her services. So what's the halacha? Is it mutter lasas haimenu besakise lekoyin gadol? Are you allowed to build a dover matunaf? Right? What's a besakisa? Right? A place where the koyin gadol washes up. He does his he does his needs there. So the shaila is, since an esnan is not allowed to be brought onto the mizbeach is kodesh kedashim. It's holy. You can't bring that, such an animal that was brought, that was gifted to a harlot, a zayna, can't bring it to.
The zaynas don't eat it.
No. Let's say the zayna wants to bring it as a carbon now. She can't. So here, what if she received bricks and now they want to build, or she wants to give it away, donate it to the Beis HaMikdash? They should build the Beis HaKisei L'Kohen Gadol. Is that allowed? I didn't answer him. And by the way, Rabbi Eliezer did well. Marsha says, Avada, he did right by not answering him. Why? Because Asur li'ikonas b'dvorim, you're not allowed to start arguing with Mina. So anyway, either way, so he ignored him. Omar Li, so this min continues the conversation on his own. It says, Kach limdani. This is what I learned. Yeah, this is what I learned. Ki my esnan zoina kibotza vad esnan zoina yeshuvu. Pasuk in Micha Perek Aleph. It says over there, Mimkoi matinoifes ba'u, lemikoi matinoifes yelechu. It came from a disgusting place. It's going to go back to disgusting place, meaning you're allowed to build a Beis HaKisei L'Kohen Gadol. That's what he learned from the pasuk. So here, Gemara says, V'en ani adavar. Yeah, I liked what he said because I heard him learn it from a pasuk, and I accepted it. I enjoyed it. Here, let's get a cheer for Nathan. Nathan, shalom aleichem. Okay. Yeah. Hey, give him a chair. Let's bring him a chair. Sofa. Yeah. No sofas. Let's go. No sofas. Yeah. Okay. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Eliezer says, Al Yedei Zen Espasti Laminos. This was the reason why I was caught by the government. What? Yeah, if you ever listen to a koifer, to a min, and you listen to them, and you have a no from a pshat they tell you, Rabbi Eliezer says, this was the reason why I was caught by these Avodah Zarah and the Romans, and I was put on the platform to be killed. Unbelievable. I was over on what the Torah says. Now, this is so interesting. It's called the Torah, but it's not a pasuk in the Chamish Shechem Torah. It's a pasuk in Mishlei. It says, "Harchik me'oleh darkecha zuminos." It says, make sure to distance yourself from Chazal Darshan. What it means is minos. Ve'al tikrav el pesach beisa zuharoshos, which is the government. So you see, there's a connection between listening or accepting or benefiting from a dvar minus, and as a result, you might become subject to a government review. Make sure to distance yourself from minus and the government. This way you'll be able to avoid zoinus. How far, when you say distance yourself from the door of the house of a zoina, how far do you have to distance yourself? Literally, can't go within the arba amas of a zoina. The Rabbanon who darshan like Yaakov Ish Kfar Sechania, they're darshaning it differently, and they're darshaning that there's a connection between minus and roshus. So how are they going to darshan this? Yeah. Hi me'esnan zoina kibotza va'ad esnan zoina yeshuvu. The chacham that don't darshan this, the chacham that refuse to accept the pshat of Yaakov Ish Kfar Sechania, how do they darshan the pasuk? My darshi be kid Rav Chizda kol zoina sheneskeres. Any zoina that hires herself out for her services, lebasoif hisoicheres. She's gonna have to hire other people to use her services. Nobody's gonna want her. She's gonna be so demeaned on the market that nobody's even gonna want to touch her. So Amela, any zoina that charges money for her services is gonna end up paying other people to receive her services.
More politician.
Or pliga the Rabbi the Omer Rabbi Pedas. The Amar Rabbi Pedas, Rabbi Pedas says, "Le'asra Torah ela kriva shel gilui arayas bilvad, shenemar ish al kol she'er b'sor lesikra v'legalas erva." They're cholik on Rabbi Pedas because Rabbi Pedas says there's no tzoyrich. You don't have to distance yourself dalat amas from the doorway of a zayna. You just can't touch. But you don't distance yourself from the Pesach of zayna dalat amas. Okay, that's what he holds. Now this is very interesting. Ula, Gemara brings a story. Kava Osama Bey Rav, when he came back from Rav, from the yeshiva, right, I guess Ben Azmanim, have a menashik luhu lachvase. He kissed his sisters, a beyadayu on their hands, the amrle bechadayu on their chest. Now, what's really interesting, on their hearts, right, where the heart was. So here we have a very, very interesting conversation with regard to kissing a person's sister. Yeah, it's very interesting because there's a very famous Rambam. It's quoted over here on the bottom. The Rambam brings that. Are you allowed to kiss somebody's sister? What's the halacha with kissing a sister?
Your own sister or somebody else's sister?
Oh, Rambam Hilchas Surah Bia, Perik Chaf Aleph. Hamachabek achas min ha'arayis she'ein liboy shel odem noikfelin. You're not attracted to them. You're not necessarily excited to touch them or shenishik achas men or to kiss them. Kigoyin achoisoi ha'gedoylo v'achois ima, your aunt or your sister. Kayotze ben. Even though you don't have pleasure from it, there's no taiva there. The dover is according to Rambam Osru or Maisa Tipsham. It's Maisa Tipsham. Okay, she ain't craving le'erva klal. You have to stay away from Arias, except chutz me'ha'em lebna, a mother to a son. That's always mutter. V'ha'av lebitoy, and a father to a daughter. That's always mutter. That's a halacha Shulchan Aruch brought in Ibn Ezer Simcha of Aleph, that you should refrain. Once the your sisters get older, kissing this aunt, and you don't do it. The Rambam says it's Maisa Tipsham. So here the big kasha is, you see that Ula have a menashik lachvase. He actually did kiss his sisters. Yeah. So what's the pshat that Ula was able to do this?
She raised him.
So the Gemara says, first of all, pliga the day of the day, he contradicted himself because the Amar Ula kreva ba'alma asur. Just like for a nazir, you tell him it's not just also for you to drink wine, but you have to make sure to distance yourself from a vineyard, right? Not to come close to wine. So too, you have to make sure that any erva, doesn't matter who, any erva that's usher to you, even a sister it sounds like, make sure that there's no kreva at all. So Gemara leaves it that this was a contradiction in Ula himself. So the truth is that it seems like these sisters weren't just regular sisters to him. It seems like these sisters actually raised him. They raised Ula. They were his older sisters. What? You said?
There's a note here.
Thank you. Yeah.
The note. Ula was confident that since he was of pure character, he would not entertain improper thoughts as a result of kissing his sister. However, he advises other people who have not reached this level of righteousness to refrain.
Very interesting.
Basically saying that he's able to handle the situation.
Very good. Very good. Tosfos says another teretz over here. Tosfos on the side. A pliga the day of the day. Says Tosfos. So bottom line in Mashahaya Mekel Atzmai. Why was Ula Mekel on himself? Haidem Shem the Damina Leki Kashura. They were like a beam, like a pole. Like in other words, he knew
In his level.
he knew that he's not going to come to any hirur. It's just garnished. So Mamela, he himself was making for himself.
Stuff like that, no?
Rabbi,
Huh?
I said everyone
so why it's
stuff
not
like that.
stam walking kisa there?
What is that?
Why specific kiss like post, no? Because you see, like, אז למה הוא לא סתם רואה איזה הולך והוא לא עוד מנשק את זה עמוד?
I get that's what I'm saying. Say it in English.
למה?
Yeah.
So why didn't those, זה סתם to any the go and kiss it?
And he no, it was a sister, only a sister.
And he wanted,
Yeah.
but if you compare it as a regular like stam,
Right.
so why stam kiss this one? You see, have a little bit of chiba to her. Otherwise, it's never gonna kiss her. Yes, he look been post living like sister.
I hear.
Because you have a little bit chiba, a good chiba, not like something like
Especially
no.
Right. A kosher chiba, like
Yeah,
it's,
kosher chiba,
an
yeah.
affection.
yeah. Otherwise, it's not gonna stam kiss
עכשיו נשק את הידיים שלהם, לא את הפנים שלהם, את הידיים.
At the Yadayim, it also says Abechadayu. I mean, this is difficult to understand, but this was the derech. Sounds like also-
בזה שהוא באמת כן יש עליה איזה חיבה. Otherwise,
very strong.
תראה מה זה.
Some say they were wearing gloves, so it was on their gloves. It wasn't.
הבא דידהו והבא חדיו, אין הכוונה לידיים ולחזה עצמם.
Yeah.
אלא לכיסוי של הידיים, לגלאבס.
Okay, interesting. Okay, all kinds of pshatim. Okay, so either way, we're learning some interesting perspectives, ashkafas and halachas. Says the Gemara right to la'aluka, to a leech. A luka is a leech, right? It draws, it sucks blood. Shtei banais, it has two daughters, hav, that say constantly, hav, my hav.
שני פאות.
What does it mean? Give me, right? Amma marukva, kol shtei banais shetzoyekas megehenim. This is the sound of two daughters that scream from the Gehenna.
היו לי רשעים.
What do they do wrong in Olam Hazeh? They said they always took, they say there are two types of people. One person, takers and givers. Yep. So these people are takers, right? Who are the takers that this phrase is referring to? Where we're talking about hav, these two bonos in Gehenna are screaming have because they screamed in Olam Hazeh have, haminus v'harashos. These are the oivdei Avodah Zarah and those people who work for the government. Why? People who work for the government are constantly collecting taxes. They're saying, gimme, right? And the people who are working for Minos are stealing other people's properties for the Avodah Zarah. So Mamela, they're constantly taking. And that's why their einish is in Gehenna.
כמו הפריסט האלה שבטלוויזיה של הגויים.
The evangelical, they make the
touch the screen, אלה לוקחים
What
את
about the
הכסף
guys
של
who
אנשים.
show Bezehut every day? Come on.
what?
Some guys Bezehut every day, 3 times a day.
Yeah, this is right.
I'm just saying.
Okay, Nathan, what's up?
The people who work for the government are innocent. They're doing their job. The question is, do they take the money for themselves?
Right. What about the people who ticket us, like the cars? I mean, those guys, I always, listen, under my breath, I muttered,
Right.
Soyakas legehenim, you know what I mean? Like, anyway,
They
yeah.
have a quota.
They are doing their job, you're right, Mo, but they should find a different
They
job.
have a quota. יש להם צריכים להביא
Yeah, anyway.
כל יום הספק. quota.
The Yitzhahara's wife, right? You know her name.
Lilas.
Right?
Which one, Lilas?
Li. Like,
Lili. Wow. תשמע מה שהוא אומר.
half is it's like at affinity. So
No, but there's some that do. I'm just saying.
It's like different nashim, right?
יפה מאוד.
They want, they need,
I'm not
they
saying
suck the
I'm
life
just
force
saying.
out of you, right?
So nice. They're like a leech. They suck it out of you. They draw the energy, your finances.
What about the Meshulakim that have 7 figures in the bank?
Right?
They're collecting.
Ah, yvavoy. Yes.
LA City.
Right. Okay. Everybody's got their people they're thinking of when we learn
That was
this.
reaching one way or another. What about these contractors who rip
Okay.
you off?
The government
Building
contracts,
safety.
the NGOs who were ripping up the
Rabbi,
government. That's the government.
שרוקי פה, זה היה, מיקי איפה, היה פה קצת שקט.
Working for the government.
הלך, נהיה פה שמונה.
Another version of this that says, "Kol gehenim tze'ekas v'meres havli shtei banos shetze'ekas v'amis ba'olam hazeh havei havei." Another difference is that the Kol gehenim tze'ekas, Gehenim itself screams out, "Give me those people who sucked everything out of other people by Olam Hazeh. What's the difference between these two Lashonos? The Mefarshim explain that in the first Lashon, they go straight to Gehenna. The second Lashon, they go first to Kapakela. The Gehenna says, give them to me already. Wow. Stop punishing them others. I want to consume them. I want to burn them. Okay, either way, not a good idea to work in Minas and to Roshas. Says the Gemara right there. But Kol Be'el Lo Yeshuvon V'Leisigu Erches Chaim. Pasuk in Mishlei says that all those people who serve Avodah Zarah, they'll never do tshuva and they'll never be able to arrive to Erches Chaim, to a life in Olam Haba. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? It's before. It's muvan me'elav. If they can't do tshuva and avodah zarah, how are they going to get to Olam Haba? Certainly, you don't have to tell me the end of the pasuk. If they can't do tshuva, then they're not going to get to Olam Haba. Says the Gemara, the im yeshuvu, and even if they do tshuva, lo yasigu orches chayim, which means Olam Hazeh, they're going to die right away. They do tshuva, they die right away. Okay. Yeah.
You know why? להרוג אותם, עשו תשובה, שלא יעשו אחר כך אותם עבודה זרה. הם יעשו תשובה, לוקח אותם מהעבודה.
Yeah. What does Rashi say? Why do they die right away?
שלא יעשו אותם עבודה. שלוקח אותם עכשיו הם בתשובה, לוקח אותם.
לטויך צורה כפיס יצרם וזוגזירס מלך עליהם למאז. That's how Kodesh Baruch Hu's goyzer. Gemara asks, more going to challenge this assumption. A neighbor, the Chalapursh, Minas Mayas, going to tell me anybody does tshuva from Minos, from Avodah Zarah, he dies right away. The woman came in front of Chizda, and she said to him, she's talking about herself, that unfortunately I violated a very light Aveira. I was violating a very light. She married her older son, she had a younger son. And basically Arayas. They should prepare for her.
It's actually called a perishment in the mind. Someone goes away from it?
Yeah, somebody does tshuva. They die right away. That's the Xeris Melech. So the Gemara challenges, that's true. I'll bring you a story. What was the story? A woman came to Rav Chizda. She confessed that she did Arayas. She was over in Gila Arayas. She married her older son. She had a younger son. And Rav Chizda said right away, prepare her shrouds, her tachrichim. She's going to die. V'loy meisa, she did not die right away. So the Ka'amra, the Gemara says, why didn't she die right away? So the Gemara says, since she said, Kala, Shebekalis, Asasa, Mechlal, Deminas, Namavibah. Since she classified one of the Gimel Chamuras, Arayas, Gilei Arayas, and she said it's Kala Shebekalis, it's a light Aveira, just dismissing the harshness of the Aveira of Gilei Arayas. So obviously she didn't believe in the Torah completely, because the Torah says it's one of the Gimel Chamuras. So if she was a min, she actually had heretic views, she had heretic perspective. So why didn't she die right away? If you say that Avodah Zarah, somebody believes in Kfira, dies right away. This woman, when she said, I did Kalash and Makalos, she was expressing Kfira, and still she didn't die right away. Says the Gemara,
she didn't do tshuva.
She didn't do tshuva karoi, and that's why Mishamachi lo mesa, because the member was only if you do tshuva completely, that's when you die right away. But here she didn't do tshuva right away. What is that?
Why would he say prepare the shrouds? Why would he say
He didn't realize. He thought she was doing tshuva completely. Yeah.
זה מה שאמרת, סיפרת לנו את הסיפור עם הרב קרליבך.
Dama?
הוא עשה תשובה אמיתית.
Yeah.
So is that what happened on the airplane?
Yeah, the airplane right before. Okay, I spoke to the fellow. Okay, when I can go, the story it's a longer story. He went to a restaurant in Borough Park, and there was a Kalina Chassid. He wanted to shake his hand. The Kalina Chassid said, I'm not shaking your hand. He said, I'm not shaking your hand. So he says, you're not shaking my hand? Why not? He says, because you're a Pesheya, you're a Rasha. You're Gili Arayas, you hug women, whatever. They didn't want to shake his hand. So Shlomo Kalbach said, what do you mean, you're better than Hashem? It says by Ne'ilah, we say, Ata Noisen Yad La Poshem. That Hashem stretches out his hand, even to Poshem. So why can't you give me your hand? I want to shake your hand. So the Kalina Chassid said, yeah, but you forgot to read the rest of that tefillah. It says that Ata Noisen Yad La Poshem, and what does it say afterward? V'yamincha pshuta lekabel shavim. And your right hand is stretched out to receive those who do tshuva. It says, it means the Pesheya that does tshuva, his hand I'll shake. So Shlomo Kalbach says, okay, I'll do tshuva. So right away he took out his guitar, he had it on his back, he took out his guitar, he started singing Hashamnu Bagadnu, he started crying. And they say, the story goes, maybe it's legend, maybe it's true, spoke to Kalina Chassid, he downplayed the story a little bit, but either way, he did tshuva and he started crying, and it says that there wasn't a dry eye in the whole restaurant. Everybody was crying along as Shlomo Kalbach confessed his sins with al-chetz and Hashamnu. And finally, the Kalina Chassid gave him his hand afterwards, he shook his hand. And the story goes that Shlomo Kalbach, a couple hours later, had a flight. Had to catch a flight, and he had a heart attack on the plane, and he died. So this Kalina Chassid, when I spoke to him a couple of years ago, I actually tracked down this guy, and I spoke to him, and he was, and he verified the story, and he said that I had a schus of being machzir b'tshuva. Now it's a very look, Shlomo Kalbach was complex fellow, but he did a lot of unbelievable good too. Yeah. So we're still inspired by his nigunim, and he said he never listened to a non-Jewish song in his life, which is why he felt he had the zchus of being able to access the nigunim that he said are from the Beis Hamikdash, that the Levim sang in the Beis Hamikdash. But either way, Reb Shaul is saying that this is relating to the idea that you do tshuva and you die. But either way, the Gemara says Ikad Amri Meminas en. Huh?
You should have waited a few years. We could have more music.
What is that?
They should have waited. Like the guy on one hand, the guy.
Okay.
That's always think about stock market. You don't wait. You wait. You just sell.
You
all the time thinking. You thinking all the time stock market.
Too much to do. Let's go weiter. Ikad Amri Meminas en. Yeah, from Minas you die right away. Aveira loy. Yeah, from the Aveir of Gili Arayis, you don't die right away. When she came from Chizda, Chizda said, prepare her shrouds. Umesa, and she did die. Why? Because she did tshuva from Gili Arayis. There's different versions. See, we're telling over a story of Shlomo Kalbach. There are different versions of the same story. So it could be there was another version of that story. Either way, this story with Rav Chizda, the woman who came in front of him, some versions of that story recorded that she died right away, and she died because of Gili Arayis, and it's not from Minus that you die right away when you do tshuva. It's from Gili Arayis, and that's what happened there. But the Ka'amr Kalash Bekalas, as the Gemara, what about when she says, I only violated a light Aveira of Gili Arayis, so Mechlal de Minus Nama Havyaba. So she also had Minus. So
what about a sota?
So Gemara says, huh?
A sota.
A saita, what about a saita?
She does Gilei Arayis, she doesn't die right away.
No, she doesn't do Gilei Arayis. She is suspicious of having done Gilei Arayis, right? It was Kiniyah Stira. She blows up. She dies immediately by the Kayin.
Well, she doesn't.
They bring her to the Kayin. There's a process.
That totally boy, it can be delayed.
If she has mitzvot.
She has schus.
Yeah, but maximum 1 year. No, they say 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year, but still, she may not die right away.
1 year, maximum 1 year.
There's a whole question over there because it makes most laws on the Maya.
It's good you guys are not debating. You have half the population will get killed.
So the Gemara says, she also was a shtickle heretic, and that's why it's a good raya that she did die right away, and that's a raya to kol ba'el lo yeshuva l'zigar chaim, that somebody who's shav b'tshuva shlema from minus, they die right away. Okay, Gemara asks like this: what about Gili Arayis? You don't die right away. Only from minus you die right away, not from Gili Arayis, according to the first lashon. But Tanya, or according to the pasuk, right? The pasuk says kol ba'el. Only those who come to serve Avodah Zarah, lo yeshuvan, they're not going to be able to do tshuva. And the Gemara says, and if they do tshuva, they're not going to be able to live in Olam Hazeh further because they're going to die right away. But not Gilei Arayis. Ask the Gemara, is that true? Gilei Arayis, you don't have this klal, Vatanya. Wow, this is the most famous Gemara in Shas, yeah? Omru Olav Blaza ben Derdaya. They said in Blaza ben Derdaya, Shlaniach zon achas ba'olam. He didn't leave over one zoina in the world. Shloi ba'olel, that he didn't come onto her. Pamachas shamash yesh zon achas b'frach hayam. He saw one zoina, he heard about the zoina that lived overseas, and she charged, she was extremely expensive. Notal Kizdinran. He took all of his money, went to the bank, made a withdrawal, and he traveled over 7 rivers. And in beginning of the Tashmish, she passed gas. Amra, so by the way, the Zionists were very careful not to pass gas because they wanted to stay attractive. They wanted to charge the money. They wanted to have their fee, right? So Mamela, it never happened. Some say that this was Mamish min Hashemayim. It was a miracle. It was Xer min Hashemayim. She passed gas, so she could tell her Belazma to die the following statement. Amr, she says, Kishem sha'afichazu, ein chazistam kameh. Just like when I pass gas, that air that just came out of me, that gas is never going to return to my body. It's gone. Says Kacha Lozer ben Derdaya, so too you ain makablan oisev b'tshuva. They're never going to receive you back, even if you do tshuva. You're a gunner. Hashem doesn't want you anymore. Now, really, the truth is that her kavana really was to excuse her passing of gas because it was like it was forced min hashamayim. So she was kind of embarrassed. So she didn't want him to turn around, right, and to like leave her, and she's not going to get paid. So she said, "You might as well do the aveira with me anyway because you have no chance of ever doing tshuva. So stay with me." Meanwhile, she was trying to seduce him further, and the message that he heard was a message of tshuva. And he understood that this is a message to him that he does have to do tshuva. He said between two mountains, this is unbelievable Gemara. He said, please, Har Mikvois, ask for mercy on my behalf. Amru Lois. So the Har Mikvois said to him, we have to ask in ourselves. He says, Shemaim V'Orz, please ask Rachamim from the Amru, and they said, we have to ask for ourselves. He turns to the Cham we have to ask for ourselves. Right? The zodiacs, the stars. So finally he realized that only I can save myself. It's only up to me. You know what they say? The longest sentence in the English language that contains the most words that are made up of two letters is the following. You ready? If it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. So that's what he realized. Eina davar toli elobi.
The longest sentence that what?
The longest sentence in the English language that contains two-letter words is, if it is to be, it is up to me. Eina davar toli elobi. You like that? Haniach rosh ben birkav. So he put his head in between his birkav, his knees, and he cried and cried and cried until his neshama left his body. Rabbi Elazar ben Dordaya, they called him Rabbi. Rabbi Elazar ben Dordaya, Mezuman l'chayil l'maba. We spoke about. Doesn't say he has a chaylik in olam haba. Doesn't say he's a ben olam haba. He said Mezuman, and we said, what's the difference between these three? It's like you show up at an airport in a foreign country. Yeah, you have the visitors lane, you have the citizens lane, and you have VIP that comes take you straight from the airplane. Mezuma means they're ready, they're waiting for you with a limo. Mezuma l'chayil l'maba, and he's a Rebbe. Gemara says, "V'hacha ba'aveira havav." You see from over here that a person dies when he does tshuva shlema from Gilei Arayis. He also dies. It's not just minos; it's also Gilei Arayis. The Gemara says, "No hasam nami kivin the ovik batuva." Since he was so much shekua in znus. Yeah, the only way a person can fall to such depths if he rationalizes and he starts misinterpreting the chomer of the aveira, the harshness of the aveira. So Mamela, kaminos damya, it's like a minos, it's like Avodah Zarah. So Mamela, that's why he died right away, because it was actually a kiyum of the pasuk of kol be'eho lo yeshuvan, kol be'eho yeshuvan lo yesigu arches chaim. Those who return, yeah, they are going to die right away. Okay. Lamais, I'll tell you something. It's tremendous toivo to die. It's like, if you think about it, a person is addicted, right? And he has one moment of clarity, and he manages to say, Hashem, I want to change. And he really means it from the depths of his heart. So, he has a high chance, a high likelihood of falling back into his addiction. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, listen, you might as well leave this world clean. Yeah, so this Gzeiros Melech, that you're so shakua, you might as well leave this world clean and be zoichet to Olam Haba. So the Gemara says, Bacha Rabbi cried.
Is that the reason why if you die right away if you do tshuva? Is that the reason why?
So Rashi seems like that, because Rashi says that Achar Shenevku B'minus, so Einim Shavin, really, it's not likely for a person to do tshuva. V'im Shavin, Mamaharin Lamas Matech Tzara Kfias Yitzram. So I'm not sure exactly what Rashi means over here. They die because of the tzara and the kfiyas yitzram. I don't know what kfiyas yitzram is. Maybe it's so difficult to be koifas yitzram hara. So gzeres melech alem lamas. I'm not sure if that's what Rashi means, but please, that's what Yoel Gold is saying, that it could be that Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right? Doesn't it say who did Hakadosh Baruch Hu take away earlier?
Enosh.
Chanoich, right? Why?
50 years old, because he knows he's going to fall into the.
He's going to fall into the Bachel. So you see this concept in Rashi and Chumash and Parshas Bereishis. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes a person away early, because if he remains in this world, that's what he said.
Relapse.
Thank you.
Also by
Beautiful.
Ben Sarah.
Also Ben Sarah Moira.
Yeah, because that's exactly what.
Right, because he's going to come to do.
Melas in the briot.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So the Gemara says, Bacha Rebbe cried. Some people have to live in this world and they have to be Segeya, B'Torah, B'Mitzvahs, or with Yisurim, and that's how they're koine the Olam Haba. Ve'esh koine Olam B'Sha'achas, and some in one moment. B'Sha'achas, we said, B'Sha means with one turn. Right? Reb Tzaddik says that any time you want to know the definition of a word, you got to go back to the first time it's mentioned in the Torah. And the first time Shah, the word Shah is mentioned in the Torah is when Cain tried to bring a carbon. The Torah says, to his mincha, to his carbon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't turn. So Rebbe is saying with one turn, ain't dry, you could turn around and be Zoichet Olam Haba. Omer Rebbe, lo dayan.
Hamin is Hamin ha'etz.
Yeah.
Right, Hamin is like the Avodah Zarah. Hamin ha'etz hadatz, right? This is Hamin
yes.
ha'etz.
So what does that mean?
So it means that's the mean. That's like so the Hamin.
The minim. What do you mean? Like you're saying?
Like
like Avodah Zarah.
Like Avodah Zarah. It's also Haman.
Haman, right?
Haman. That's where we have Haman from. The first
right. Excellent. Wow. Very nice. It's all in the Torah right there. Mamish by the Chet of Eitz Hadas. First chet. Omer Rebbe lo dai lo bal tshuva mekabel nois, and it's not just that they're mekabel bal tshuva, and you're moichel them and they're averis. Elo shekoyven oisan Rebbe. You see that the Basko came out, and Rebbe Lozer ben their dai, they called him Rebbe. He became the Rebbe of tshuva. Anybody, if you ever heard a Aseres Yemei Tshuva speech from a rabbi or an Elul that's coming off pretty soon, you'll know the rabbi always anchors his tshuva drasha. He always goes back to the Gemara of Reb Elazar ben Dardaya because he became the Rebbe for everybody, for Klal Yisrael when it comes to tshuva.
נראה לך שהוא יישב ליד רבי עקיבא?
לא יודע, אני לא הייתי שם, אבל עוד לא הייתי שם.
הוא לא יישב ליד רבי עקיבא או ליד רבי אליעזר, הוא יישב למעלה.
וואו, במוקים שבא לתשובה עמדם.
בסדר, איזה רבי הוא יהיה, איזה רבי?
Beautiful.
מלמד כל התורה כולה?
לא, רבי אין תשובה. אוקיי, רבי חנין רבי
לא יהיה רבי עקיבא, לא יהיה רבי אליעזר, לא מקום שלהם.
לא יודע, אוקיי.
אין מקום שם ביציע שם.
Yeah, it says over here, Taka, they bring it over here, the Maral, the Sif Sechayim, he became the Rebbe.
They eat everybody gets a place that fits what they need.
Unbelievable.
בסדר, אבל אחי,
he doesn't want to be in Harvard.
אוקיי, הוא עשה תשובה מלאה, הוא היה עם כל האנשים הכי גרועות בעולם, ועכשיו הוא יקבל חלק בעולם. הוא עשה תשובה, אבל יקבל חלק כמו של...
Okay, at least let's turn the page, חבר'ה, let's turn the page.
כמו רב עקיבא?
No,
כמו רבי עקיבא? כמו רבי אליעזר? לא, לא יקבל, הוא חלק.
יש לנו קנוי, הוא קנוי לדבר השם. זה הלב שלו בוער לכבוד השם ותורתו.
לא יכול להיות אותו דבר, אין מציאות אותו דבר, אין דבר כזה אותו דבר.
Everyone gets a place that fits their personality.
בסדר, קיבל, בסדר.
That's right. Yeah, everybody's
you
their own place.
You don't put a guy in Harvard, MIT, it's going to be torture for him.
That's right.
That's why the guy
You put him, you put him where he can grow and benefit from. Okay, Zuk the Gemara. Chidi Rabbi Yonasan Avakaz Labo Orcha. Chidi Rabbi Yonasan were traveling Mata Lahanu Trei Shvila. Listen to the story. They came to a place that was a fork in the road. There, right? The one path, one path led to the door of Avodah Zarah. And the other road led to Pisla Bezainis. So they had a conversation which road to take. So one said to his friend, let's go to the road that leads to the door of Avodah Zarah. Why? Because already the Yetzirah for Avodah Zarah is already shechted. So we're not going to put ourselves into an asylum by passing by a church. So the other guy said, no, let's go to the road, travel the road that leads to Pisla Bezainis. This way we can overcome our Yetzirah and receive a reward from Hashem. Oh, that's tough stuff. That is tough stuff. Yeah, Vadanat. Yeah? The Gemara says, Kimotu Hasam. They went to the Pesach Beis HaZoynes. That's what the decision was. They saw Chazinu LeZoynes Iskana Mekamayu. They saw the Zoynes. As soon as the Zoynes saw Reb Chanina and Reb Yonasan, immediately they retreated into their tents. The Zoynes went inside. So he said to him, Menolacha, how did you know that we can travel this road and you weren't afraid from the Yetzirah? What gave you the confidence that we're not going to be nichshal? So he answered him, Mizimo tishmoy relecha tevuna sincereka. The Torah can guard a person. Yeah. So Mamela, there's no whatchamacallit. Now I don't advise anybody to try this. Avadanat. A person not allowed to be machnas himself. We ask every morning, right? Don't bring us to a matzav of an nisayan. But I guess these tzaddikim knew that on their level they knew that the Torah would protect them.
Through it right now. It's crazy.
Amrulei Rabbana l'Rava, my mezima. What does the word mezima mean? Ilay Torah. It's a euphemism for Torah. D'chsiv ba zimahi, because it says in the Torah the word zima mitargamina. Atzas chetin. It's machshava to do a chet. Iksiv hifli eitza higdil tishia yacha zima mibayalei. So it should have said zima tishmer lecha, not mezima. So how can you say the mezima word? The word mezima means Torah if you're proving it from the Torah where it says zima, right? So you should say zima. The pasuk in Mishnah is mezima. Hachi kamar. So Gemara says, yeah, that's what mezima means. The mem, the preface, the mem is midvar zima tishmer lecha Torah. From a dvar zima, from znus, the Torah will guard you, right? Tavuna sincereko. Okay, we'll stop over here. I just want to tell you one quick maisa because I just